Yeah.
You're the only one who has the book.
Oh, okay.
No, I got one here.
Oh, okay.
The three of us have our book.
No,
Here we
Bill's got his.
You wanna?
Okay.
There you go.
So we all do but
No.
you.
Yeah, well, see, they used to be part of the thing,
Yeah, yeah.
so. Turn your mic on and speak into your mic.
We are recording, if you're ready to start.
All right, I guess we're ready. I'd like to welcome everybody to the October 2025 meeting of the Madison Historic District Board of Review. Could we have a roll call, please, Brenna?
Bill Jewell.
Present.
Happy Smith. Here. Chris Cody.
Present.
Ken McWilliams.
Present.
Ryan Rogers.
Present.
Jared Anderson.
Here.
Judd Skillman.
Present.
Okay, and just real quick, reminder, keep your mics off when you're not speaking. Just so we don't have any squealing.
Okay.
Too many hearing aids. We get what you're yelling at us.
All right, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of last month's meeting that would like to review it? Do we have any changes, additions, anything like that? Do I hear a motion
Yeah, I move that we accept the minutes as submitted.
and a second?
I second that.
All in favor, aye?
Way
There
to
we
go,
go,
Bill.
Don't
there we
vote.
go, way to go.
Good.
I see that Brian Shaw, our Chief Building Official, is in the audience tonight, actually not in the audience, right over here. If you have any building permit questions, he'd be happy to help you.
1 second. Can we get a roll call for minute approval?
Oh, I'm
Do
sorry.
we?
That's
The
okay.
other boards don't do roll
Well-
call.
Well, we do.
Let's get a roll call.
Yes, I know.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Bill Jewell.
Yes, I approve.
Happy Smith. Chris Cody.
Approve.
Ken McWilliams.
Approve.
Ryan Rogers.
Approve.
Jared Anderson.
Approve.
Judd Skillman.
Approve.
Okay, tonight we're going to conduct the meeting by having the owner or the owner's rep come up to the podium, adjust the microphone so we can hear you, and tell us your name and where you live, your address. Brenna from the city will then review the project that's been presented to the city. At that point in time, either the owner or their rep or both will have a chance to expand on, elaborate whatever you'd like to do about your project. Remember, you're going to be one of the best cheering squads for your project. At that point, we will then, members of the board may ask questions of you to clarify things a little bit. We will then ask if there's any kind of input from the general public or if there's been any kind of written communication to the city that we need to read into the record. At that point, we will have what's called findings of fact, where one of the board members will relate how we feel this project either does or doesn't fit in. And at that point, we will vote. Now, at any point up until then, if you feel like that things are not really going well, if you think you would need a little more time for planning, the board is almost always agreeable to allowing you to table to go another month to give you a little more time for planning. So, I think we're about ready to go. Let's see here. Okay, Tom McPherson. We're going to table Tom McPherson's, I
Yes.
think.
This has been a request from the applicant to table for 1 more month. They do plan to attend next month.
I move we table the project at 123 Jefferson Street until the next meeting.
I second that.
Okay, vote.
Okay, Bill Jewell.
I approve.
Happy Smith. Approve. Chris Cody.
Approve.
Ken McWilliams.
Approve.
Ryan Rogers.
Approve.
Jared Anderson.
Approve.
Judd Skillman.
Approve.
All right, let's get started with our first one at 111 4th Street,
Is it-
East 4th Street, excuse me.
So this is one you should be familiar with.
Yes.
We'll have him introduce landmarks. You want to go ahead?
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Greg Sekula. I'm Southern Regional Director for Indiana Landmarks. As I think most of you are aware, Indiana Landmarks recently acquired the Custer Cosby House with the intent of saving the building and rehabilitating the shell of the structure. Our intent is to rehabilitate what remains of the house by repairing siding in kind, retaining the original windows that are there. We're going to retain the 6/6 windows on the second floor, and the first floor had 6/9 windows, which were later alterations to the building, but we're going to keep that configuration. Yes.
Just a very brief overview,
Yeah,
since
sure.
we are familiar with it. So this request is to put an addition on the back instead of demolishing like the previous one. This is the Custer House. The house is not at its original site. It was moved in 1999 from 715 Poplar Street. It was deemed unsafe in July by the building inspector. It was constructed in 1844, and it is a contributing structure.
All right,
Now it's
sorry
your
for
turn.
jumping ahead.
Now it's your turn.
Thank you, Brenna, for that. Our plan is to, again, retain the original 1844 two-story front section of the building that remains. We will repair the wood siding in kind, replacing what's missing or damaged with wood siding. We're evaluating whether we're going to use either modified poplar or cedar siding, but it will be wood siding. We are also going to add a two-story addition on the back side of the building, which the plans reflect here. That will also be a wood-sided exterior. We're going to go with, again, traditional clapboard siding on the structure. We are retaining, as I said, the original multi-light windows on the front of the building that remain. We have to have at least one sash fabricated, one of the 9-light sash windows fabricated. We're actually in the process of having that done already. We were fortunate in that, as you can see in this photograph, we were able to salvage some 6/6 wooden, divided light wooden sashes from a house in Hanover that was demolished recently, that Hanover College owned. And our plan is to repurpose those window units in the new addition to the building. So it's both a cost savings, it's saving some windows that would have otherwise landed up in the landfill, and these windows are in pretty good shape overall. Our plan at this point is to do a dimensional shingle roof on the building, and we will also do the footers and plan for a side porch on the east side of the building. Depending on the budget, we may or may not build the porch, but we may start with the footings on it. We'll just have to kind of see how the project progresses. We are not planning to build a garage on the structure, but we are affording room in the back of the property where someone in the future could build a garage if they so desired to do so. The interior at this point of the addition is just going to be left kind of unfinished, and our strategy initially will be to try to sell the property with the intent that the buyer would finish the interior. If that doesn't work out, then we may go to another phase and actually finish out the interior of the building, but our first approach is going to be trying to get the exterior of the envelope completed and let someone go in there and finish the interior as they see fit.
Now, you mentioned you're going to use, 1/2x6 tapered siding?
Yes, that's the plan. Actually, there's a combination. We found some that's not tapered, some that is, so it's kind of a mix mash of siding, but our plan is to maintain the original profile, and at least at this point, the tapered siding is what we're considering using.
Okay. Anybody from the board like to
So, Greg,
talk?
God bless you, my son.
Yes.
You know,
Okay.
thank
Thank
you
you.
for this.
You're welcome.
But, so many questions, but trivial one I have, your foundation, is it going to be stone for the back? Or
No,
you?
we are looking at probably a concrete block foundation that will be parged to kind of give that. The front foundation, when Link did the project, he utilized some original stone that was on the property, and that foundation actually is in pretty good condition, so we're not anticipating having to change that at all. But we will go ahead and do a block foundation on the rest of the house. It currently has mostly a block foundation on there, but that block foundation was damaged when the additions were taken off the building. So we're going to take all of that out and relay new block foundation, and then do a parge coat on it to kind of mask the concrete block.
Thank you so much for doing wood siding. We have kind of an explosion going on in town of hardy board siding, so it's really good to have an example of using the wood siding of the correct reveal and the tapered wood siding, so thank you so much for doing that. How are you going to, okay, so the building was kind of chopped in half. How do you seam to that raw edge?
Happy, we will end up, I think we could get the new framing, and Dennis Webster, who is our contractor, is here tonight, so he may be able to answer these kinds of questions as well. But our intent would be to put a corner board transition between the original and the addition to kind of demarcate the two. But I think we'll be fairly close in terms of being able to match the depth of the wall to where it was with the new addition as well. But we will have a corner board that will differentiate between the original section of the house and the new addition.
I want to comment about your windows. We get so many projects here, and they want to replace the windows, or the windows have been replaced already, and no effort was made to save anything. But this is impressive that you got used windows from Hanover, and they're right.
Yeah,
Right on the money.
they were remarkably, if you're familiar with the whole unfortunate story about the vet school project and how it's on hold right now, unfortunately, but there was a Cape Cod house that stood right near the scenic entrance to the college that was recently demolished, and we were fortunate enough to, because of work we're doing in Hanover right now, to be able to do some significant salvage.
Yeah.
And when this project came up and we were looking at, the cost of windows, these windows were remarkably in good shape. They function well. They've got, and so it's like, rather than let those go to the landfill, we thought we could incorporate them into the project.
They've got a good home.
Yes.
I just wanted to comment, I really appreciate the level of detail. It's not required to present to the board, but it always makes it so much easier when we know exactly what to expect.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Anybody else? Is there anyone from the audience that would like to comment? Anyone? Have we received any written communication to the city about this? No? All righty. I think we're doing pretty good here.
I'll do it.
Pardon?
I'll do it.
Go ahead. Finding of fact.
So findings of fact, Greg, you've only given us a project with 37 different categories to talk about. And so I'm just going to say, thank you for what you're doing. You're spot on in how you're approaching this and constructing this. So, Mr. Chair, this meets the guidelines and should be approved.
All right. Anybody else feel anything different?
Jared, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Ryan?
I agree.
Happy?
Agree.
Jed?
Absolutely.
Chris?
100%.
Okay, could we
And-
hear a motion?
And you agree too?
I agree.
Okay.
Excuse me. I agree.
I'll jump in. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant, and Brandon, can we put the address back up on the screen?
111 East 4th.
111, that we grant a certificate of appropriateness
You were close.
for 111 East 4th Street.
I second it.
Yeah.
Do we have a vote?
Okay, Bill Joel?
I approve.
Happy Smith? Chris Cody?
Approve.
Ken McWilliams?
Approve.
Ryan Rogers?
Approve.
Jared Anderson?
Approve.
Jed Skillman?
Approve.
You may pick your paperwork up from the city.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for
Thank you,
your
Greg.
your
Thank you.
approval and support.
We're looking forward to seeing how it comes out, too.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, next. We're not doing anything with 228. At 421 Mill Street has been put
okay.
off. Are we going to
No,
table?
Next up is 808 East 2nd.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So this was a table from last
Oh,
month.
yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, for the poll.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, I'm Brent Eister. This is my wife Sue, and we bought 808 East 2nd Street. As part of the rehabilitation on it, we removed a whole 55-gallon trash can of, I'm sorry?
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
She started.
Yeah, Brenda's going to
That's all right.
start.
It's all right.
Yeah, let Brenda start. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Okay. So this is a contributing structure built in 1920, zoned historic district residential, and the request is to put a pole in the backyard to support an antenna attached to the brick and or eaves.
Cool.
All right, go ahead.
What she said.
Yeah.
So as part of the rehabilitation, there was an antenna that somebody had put on the gable at the very top of the back of the house sometime after 1920, and that was gone, but the structure was still there. So we've removed all of the wire and the supporting structure for the old antenna and everything else. But we'd still like to have air TV, so what we propose doing is just having a pole, which that's my poorly drawn picture of a pole, that'll be in the back of the house as opposed to on the gable. And one simple pole that is anchored in the ground and then anchored to either the brick or the soffit on the house, and then the antenna on top of that. So it probably won't be visible from very many viewpoints, if at all.
Brenna, would it be appropriate if we just moved straight to a vote? If
Yeah,
we made a motion?
You know, I
Yeah, we
second
can do
that.
that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I move that we just, that we move straight to a vote.
All right.
Make
Yeah.
a motion.
Yeah, do you want to make the motion?
Yeah. What isn't it? I just moved to,
I move to
I
approve.
To approve.
move, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I move to approve the application of 808 East Second Street.
I second.
Okay, whatever vote.
Bill Joel,
I approve.
Happy Smith. I approve. Chris Cody,
Approve.
Ken McWilliams,
Approve.
Ryan Rogers,
Approve.
Jared Anderson,
Approve.
Jed Skillman.
Approve.
Okay, I think you're about ready to go there.
Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good luck.
all right.
Okay.
Now,
Next is 421 Mill Street. This, after discussion with the applicant, we are tabling it, so I will need a motion to table.
okay,
Are there any others that we can just include in a singular motion to table? Like, let's table all the rest of them on the agenda with one motion
I
that
don't
need to be
think we've
tabled.
got another one.
We do.
Just one more?
Yeah, we can do that. So it'll be 421 Mill Street
Okay,
and, let's see, 608 West Third and 1229 West Main.
I'm sorry, what was the last one?
1229
Oh,
West
12.
Main.
Okay, so I motion to table 421 Mill Street, 608 West Third Street, and 1229 Main Street, all
I
three.
second that.
We have a vote.
Okay. Bill Joel,
I approve.
Happy Smith. Approved. Chris Cody,
Approve.
Ken McWilliams,
Approve.
Ryan Rogers,
Approve.
Jared Anderson,
Approve.
Jed Skillman.
Approve.
All right, let's go on, moving right along here. How about, looks like we're at 515 East Street.
Okay. 515 East Street, this is a contributing structure, built in 1840. It is federal and Italianate style, zoned historic district residential, and the request is to build a new 22-foot by 24-foot garage.
Okay. Sir, could you, yeah, your name and where you live?
Evening, Bill Eccles,
Okay,
and I live 124 Milton Street,
okay.
bottom of Michigan Hill there. General contracting for the 515 East Street garage.
Okay.
So you've been doing a lot of work on this project already.
Yeah, that was a little bit more of a project on that house that I thought it was getting into, but it, yeah, so we redid some stuff on the inside, trying to clean up the backyard. We put a fence in, last week or two, side of the backyard, just trying to make it look better for her there.
Brenda, did the applicant have approval for this fence?
Yes, that was a separate application.
Okay, thank you.
And actually,
Just a test.
I
It was
uploaded.
nice
the-
fence. Nice fence.
I uploaded the staff notes and that is included.
Okay, thank you. So go right ahead. So,
Yeah, so she just wants a garage, so the idea is, sorry, I should put this on CAD or something like that, but the saddle tree on the backside of the kind of the alley there, just have a gravel landing, small apron for the garage to go into. That's looking from the house back towards it, and this is saddle tree looking into it now. Basically, the pine tree to the left and the big tree to the right, the other pine have been taken down now to make room. They weren't really affecting where the garage would be, but to dig and prep it and everything, it would be in the way to it. So those trees are removed now. The new fence is, where the old fence you can see there on the left picture is down to the end of the garage there where it will be. And then just to come off the 4 feet on both sides, structure-wise, with the overhang to be my 3 feet boundaries on both sides to it, 22 feet wide, I have a 30-foot lot.
thank you for your detail on this, too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not quite what he started the show with earlier. Kind of set the bar a little bit high for us coming up here. But,
All right. So does Sharon understand, and maybe Brenda relayed this, that we're not sympathetic to vinyl siding
Yeah.
at all? And that's in how you're planning on, building your exterior walls to this garage.
yeah, so just a regular stick-built garage where you can go 2x6.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And then just with the, the vinyl siding, some of the neighbors right there have the same deal, just a simple garage. He's trying to save
Oh,
some
you're right
cost.
about that.
Things downtown tend to be a little bit pricier than elsewhere when you go to build or buy into it. But that's the game plan right now. She likes the look of the a light sage green that she had some colors inside decorated to or whatever.
Has she looked into any alternate sidings?
So we mentioned hardy board earlier. I am a fan of it. I like putting it up. I think it looks great. It's durable. Talked about that, but she was still on the vinyl right now. If something changes, it would be an improvement to it to fit into something or whatever. But I think that's the game plan right now. with
So
the vinyl.
Brenda, is there funds in the PACE budget yet for someone upgrading from vinyl to hardy board?
For next year?
Yes.
That can be covered, yes.
All right. So do you know how that PACE grant works?
Yes, but I didn't know on a new structure
Yeah.
that would play into
Check
it.
your microphones.
Pardon me?
Check your microphones. So as far as PACE goes, it will not cover the new construction, so it would not
No,
work
you're
for
right.
that.
No, I forgot that part. So sorry. No money for you.
Got my
So-
hopes up, but anyway.
Yeah.
No.
But no, so not sympathetic toward a vinyl siding on a garage. Okay.
I noticed the vinyl also. I have a feeling that the board will probably not approve vinyl. Do you want to possibly table this for a month and think about this a little bit, a little more planning time, maybe?
So what are my options to proceed with I guess I thought new construction could be something, especially to match pretty much everything around my house. The back of the house is vinyl, the neighbors' garages are vinyl, the back of the other houses around me are vinyl.
You're
No, I think
absolutely correct with
vinyl.
that.
You are.
So-
And unfortunately, it's not a siding that we tend to look favorably at. Would you want to think about maybe some hardy board, something like that? Or maybe a metal board and batten siding? I know we've approved those, okay?
I guess I'm torn on the fact of,
I know.
I guess I don't understand why a vinyl with everything around me being vinyl can't be acceptable on a new construction. I understand if it was old and taking it down and changing something that was existing there.
Traditionally, I wouldn't support vinyl either. However, because this is a building on an alley and the building right across the alley is actually, I believe, metal siding,
Yes.
I think we can I would be willing to make an exception,
Yes.
just because it's at the
He's
rear
right.
of the property, but that's just me.
So I agree with Jared, and I applaud you for pressing the issue and the question, because this is a tough one when you look all around and you see vinyl siding. Generally, we don't prefer vinyl siding because it's not as durable long-term. It fades faster in a lot of cases than other kinds of siding. But, this particular location of this project might warrant an exception. I did have one other question for you, though. Looks like the width is 22 feet on the garage, 25 feet on the house, but where the garage would be sited on the lot, it looks like it'd be proud of one of the lines on the front house. Is there any way you can move it closer to that lot? I'm assuming it's a lot line. You might have a setback issue, but generally, especially for a new construction behind a historic house, it's nice if when you look at the front of the house, it's tucked back behind the plane of the historic house as opposed to sticking out. It looks like it's a matter of just a couple feet of shifting it over.
I hear what you're saying. Trying to think, it will be, trying to think of when I look at that.
Is there,
So I think that the drawing looks a little bit off from where it's actually going to be from the line of sight, because if I look at from the front, from East Street looking down, excuse me, the, the bottom row here or whatever, that's the new fence that we put in. So with that fence, I only have 4 feet to where that garage, or to where the house starts on the 25 feet part at the top. So with that, it's in line with that from that line of sight. The other line of sight, there is no line of sight because there's 2 buildings side by side of it with the existing neighbor that's 3 feet away with a fence on 2 fences going down through there.
Sure.
So I think if you look from the east street, from on the south side looking down, it is in line with what it would be from that. The other side would only be the setback of what I have to do on, without condensing to make it a 20-foot garage or whatever. Trying to utilize as much space as I can out of it with that.
Okay, I think I understand you. I was trying to figure out on the drawing, it's 1 block on the graph paper over out of there, and I
Yeah,
was
I
wondering
know.
how many feet, how far are we sticking out? Because I tell you, if it wasn't sticking out and you're telling me I could stand in front of the house and not see the garage, I'd be a lot more inclined to say vinyl siding could be acceptable on something I can't see if I'm standing in front of the house.
Right, and that's essentially the case because the garage from the, like I said, the fence to the house is no more than 4 feet. It might only be like 44 inches, and that's where the fence to the garage would be in line, essentially the exact same line.
Can you squeeze that 4 feet and go with a 20-foot garage, or can you move it? You're saying it's a setback on the other side, right?
It's the
Setback issue?
If I set the 22, then I have to have 4 feet on each side of the line, which is in fact, what I should have done honestly is the house picture probably should have came down and been in line more with the garage as opposed to the garage being more in line with the house, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I don't even think it's an exact scale of what that is, so try to put 170 feet onto it to scale it out of, I forget my exact measurement on it, of what that was, but I really think
They're pretty
real
much
close
in
to being
line. Okay, thanks.
Where it is, yeah.
I appreciate your drawings. They're perfectly fine for what we
I really probably
need.
could have got a little bit better than that, but.
But I do have a couple of questions
Yeah.
on materials. We've talked about the vinyl siding. What's the windows?
So, the plan was vinyl windows, to pop in, a regular, she wants to use one of the existing doors that was there at the house for the entry door to the main door to it. The windows, we planned on vinyl to them. If it has to be something, once again, nobody will see those windows because it's enclosed between 2 fences in her backyard that don't face the saddle tree. So it's basically from her side of the house is the only side that she would see it from.
Okay.
As far as, somebody else looking at it, I guess, but, not opposed to something else if it has to be, but, she's wanting to try to minimize the cost onto it, and, it's just pricey on some of the other stuff too.
And I assume the trim's all aluminum capping?
So, yeah, so we'll put, the soffit, the fascia metal around, and on the, whatever flange is on, are you talking specifically the windows or?
Rake boards, gutter boards, things of that
Yeah.
nature.
So, if we, and I'm not opposed to the hardy board or something like that too. Like I said, I like the look of it and then putting it on, looks good. It is a little bit pricier, and the fact that now you're paying to get it painted as well and caulking every bit of that stuff, it takes forever to do or whatever. So, but I'm not opposed to doing that. And if we did do that, then it would be the regular trim work, the 3/4 inch, or the, to wrap all the windows like it would be on
Right.
the hardboard stuff to it or whatever to it.
Well, I don't oppose the structure itself, but the materials that you're using are so far out of the guidelines, it makes it difficult, even though in that alley, there may be other examples of vinyl and so forth. If I go a couple blocks over where people have done different things and tell them they have to do something different, it makes it very unfair throughout the district. I think, in my opinion, it probably wouldn't get approved because of the materials, but the board has the option to interpret the guidelines as they see appropriate. So what he was saying earlier, it could be tabled so you could discuss this with the customer, or we can go ahead and vote on it, and even if it's denied, it can be presented with a different material. There's not a big risk in having to vote, I guess.
Well, my only setback, I guess, is the fact that she's just moved in here and has a living room 3 bedrooms jam-packed with everything that she's trying to get into a garage that needs to be built before winter.
Yeah.
So pushing it back another month, and then we get into the winter months of the weather side is kind of my more concern of what it is to table it. So, I don't know, I haven't been through one of these things, but if we can yay or nay on the materials here, or no, it has to be this, and we approve that, and then we come back as we start building it for the finish touches to say, okay, now everybody voted and says it has to be hardy board or something like that, but I can still start my process of building to get that underway if that's possible to do something like that.
I'm not sure how that would work. One of the problems that the board has is trying to design by committee. We can tell you what we'd like to see, and you can agree to it and take it back to the customer and say, I got you an approval based on this, but we don't know whether she wants to do that or not. So it kind of puts us in an awkward situation. We try to vote on what is presented as opposed to something that we come up with.
Gotcha.
I want to make a comment about hardy plank. Hardy plank, you can buy it pre-painted, and it's rated for 25 or 30 years. I mean, it's solid stuff.
And I agree. You still have to caulk your butt joints.
Oh, yeah,
and paint
okay,
that kind
yeah,
of stuff
I know.
too,
And the other thing is, your client is fixing this up. She has an idea, a taste for antique or historic structures, and she's going to make her house nice, and you're going to be doing the work. And the people that live across the street are going to look out their window and see a really prime job. She's going to stand in her house and look out at her garage and see a garage that looks like it belongs in the suburbs of, Indianapolis. It doesn't say Madison. And she has to keep that in mind. I mean, I know that it will add moderate expense to doing the garage, but I would advocate 100% because she's going to see that. She's not going to see the front of her house except when she pulls up to it or walks out the front door to get the mail or something. But she will definitely be looking out the back and see the garage. And it's a mismatch, She should give herself the best possible view she can, and that would be a better product than vinyl.
I think we've kind of moved on to board discussion. We're talking to each other, and when I went to look at this, I found some contradictions in our guidelines on this topic that I thought make this a really tough decision. I mean, I'm looking at page 97 for new construction. Now, this is for dwellings. This isn't a dwelling, but it says very explicitly, vinyl and aluminum siding materials are not appropriate for Madison's historic district. Now, I only have to turn one page to look at the design guidelines, and I see 23.10 that says the use of substitute products such as vinyl, aluminum, and pressboard siding may be appropriate. Two directly contradictory statements within one page of each other on this topic in our guidelines. So I think when you look at outbuildings and think about, what I just referenced is for primary dwellings, and I'll tell you right now, I will not support vinyl siding, especially as a replacement material on historic buildings, nor do I think it's appropriate for the primary facade of a new building in our historic downtown. But for a minimally visible garage that's already surrounded by vinyl siding, I think that there's enough in our guidelines that allows vinyl siding to be used as an exception, especially for outbuildings and new construction. I feel like, again, I think this is something that we need to look at because there are clear contradictions in our guidelines, but I think that there's a pathway to approving this.
I agree completely, Chris. Thank you.
I would. That's Brian Shaw, Building Inspector. I respect the board 100% on their decisions, but, I mean, it's just good to see something new getting built down there. We don't see it very often. Rejuvenation. And like we said, it's all vinyl down there, and it's just nice to see something new, and it would definitely be an addition, and I support it. I just want to say that.
So this has really been a good conversation, and I'm a anti-vinyl person. And I guess the only thing I'll say is you really have a really very wonderful house here. I think your wonderful house deserves a wonderful garage. We've had a lot of people come before us to build really high-quality garages. Maybe there's not so many of them in, right there in your neighborhood, but we do have people come before us who build beautiful garages, so some accountability has to be made to honor those people who are doing everything right by the historic guidelines. We're just struggling here to keep this historic district up to the standards of National Historic Landmark District, which is a hard thing to maintain, and it's a value to the town. And it's a struggle. You're seeing the struggle right here. You've spoken very eloquently, and I really thank you for your commitment to the project and your commitment.
Thank you. And when you say we follow the guideline, I don't know which guideline, because we just saw that there's two different kind of guidelines. So that's where, as a contractor or homeowner or anybody, what do? We're at the mercy of you guys to say we like it or we don't. And your guys' guidelines even say it's different things. So to go back to the homeowner and say, well, we're going to push this back a month so we can go back in so they can decide that we need to put this on there. And the fact of, and it, by the way, it costs you another $5 or $10 grand to do it. It's tough. And I get it. Other people are building nicer houses or nicer garages, but if they want to pay for this garage, I have no problem putting up a party board, but the homeowner going back to her, that's a tough conversation. When I've already contracted into what this is going to be cost based on a month and a half ago, given these guidelines or putting in my building permits and all that kind of stuff, to then come back and say a month later, I'm in the same boat I was before. I might not get approved and be pushed out another month. So,
Anybody else from the public like to speak? Anybody? Have we had any communication? None? Jared, you think you could do findings of facts here?
I can. I'm not sure the rest of the board will agree. I believe you meet the guidelines. The materials used, again, in part of the guidelines, it does say no vinyl, but part of the guidelines it says that's okay. So, I personally am willing to look past that and say that you meet the guidelines.
Yeah, I'll add that, really, we're talking about 24.5. Materials used for new garages and outbuildings should reflect the historic development of the property. And it says that if frame buildings are constructed, alternative materials may be considered if they resemble traditional wood siding in texture, dimension, and overall appearance. I think that you can get there with vinyl, and I think having a modern material on the new portion of the building, the new building on the property, that's, given where it is, and as Brian was saying, bringing investment, development to this area, I'm with Jared and believe it meets the guidelines and ready to go.
Anyone else? Okay, Jed, what do you think? Are you in favor?
I am not.
Okay. Ken?
I agree.
Brian?
Wait. Who do you agree with?
Agree with Jared.
With Jared, okay.
I don't believe it's appropriate for the historic district,
Okay.
the materials. The
Happy,
garage
what do
is
you
fine.
think?
I'm really, I really feel we gotta hold the line against the vinyl. It's a very tough decision, appreciate, but I feel it does not meet the guidelines.
Bill?
What do you think here?
Bill, what do you think?
You have to chime in.
I think it does meet the requirements. Do we
wanna
have findings of fact?
Based upon the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to the project at 515 East Street.
A second?
I second.
Do we have a vote, please?
Bill Jewell,
I approve.
Happy Smith,
Do not approve.
Chris Cody,
I definitely respect all my fellow board members who are voting no on this. This is a really tough call. I'm going to vote yes.
Ken McWilliams,
Yes.
Brian Rogers,
No.
Jared Anderson,
Approve.
Judd Skillman.
No.
Okay, the yeses have it.
thank you. I apologize.
And
But thank you.
I would like to say real quick here, I appreciate how you've taken this garage and moved it in off of the alley. It is really difficult getting in garages that are stuck right on the alley, and your 20-foot setback, I think, was a very smart thing to do.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I see the neighbor there and it's right on, and it's hard to make that turn just to stay
It is.
in the alley instead of the neighbor's yard. So,
You can pick your paperwork up, get started as soon as any permits are in place.
all right. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
All right, thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right.
Good.
Next one is Victoria Howard at 510 Main Street.
So this project, real
Good
quick.
evening. Thank you for coming.
This is 510 Main Street, West Main Street, sorry. The structure is contributing and it is individually eligible. It was built in 1835. It is the in Italianate style zone specialty district. And just a note, relevant information, the concrete pad that it will be placed upon or proposed to be placed upon is already there and has been.
All right, if you would like to speak.
Okay, the pad was already there. It's, I think, the structure is going to be 22 by 22 and planned out as wanting to match up with the house. It sets, you can't see it, it's straight in line. And it's tight there on the alley, which is a concern. So therefore, I have to have a one, it's just one garage door rather than two. The way the tightness runs, it's
Right.
going to be too difficult.
Right.
Two man doors, one on the front and one on the side. I have antique windows. I've had those a long time. Going to use the smaller one on the one side and on the back, the taller one. As far as siding, I want to go with antique brick on the alley to match up with the house. We've located some. It's just a process of actually getting the deal done. And the rest is LP Smart Siding, 8-inch reel, which the contractor utilizes and it looks good. Also a sage green color to kind of match up. Standing seam metal roof to match the house
Okay.
as it is. And the roof line, which is interesting, walking around taking photos all around town of all the different roof lines, I love the look of that. And I looked at the back of my house, and that's the roof line on the older part of my house, which is the back part where the garage is going to be. So I thought that would be neat to have that as well. And in back of my house, Eversole's property, she has a carriage house, which is an extreme roof line like that. So it's directly in back of it. So that's my proposal. Think of anything?
I am a little confused about the application just because there's two sets of drawings that we have. There's this one, but then there's also one
Yes.
that shows that.
Yes.
Which one is,
I wanted to do the asymmetrical roof line. As I was going around town, looking at all the roof lines in the garages, trying to get a feel for it all around, I noted that asymmetrical look, which I really like. I think it looks historic. It is historic. I went to the archive visitor center area in the back there and spoke with the head of that, and he also agreed, and he drew it out for me kind of, and we talked about it and thought it was a real interesting look and kind of a little upgrade, I think.
so this is what we're voting on?
The
Looking like-
asymmetrical, yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Is Ms. Howard on that drawing?
Your mic on.
Sir, thank you. So on that drawing, and so you have your garage door on the alley,
Yes,
all right? So that means that roof pitch has to be aimed at the alley. Because your house, all the homes that have, always been told that's called camelback, that roof line. Anyone else ever heard that?
Never heard of that.
Okay. But all those roof lines through the city, the high point is to the west. And the low point clearly drops off to the east. So
I don't think my neighbor's like that.
your house is like that.
Well, the neighbors is, the high point is to the north and the low point is to the south. The photo that's in the application.
So,
And that's what I went on. I think looks a little better in my mind, to see it that way.
Well, no matter which direction the roof slopes, you have to have a gutter there and a downspout and a means to transfer the water from whichever side out to the alley.
And if you look at the veranda, the top veranda there, I thought that the high point, if it was there, it wouldn't work. Literally.
so, sorry.
Yeah, well, so you're trying to match the back of the veranda so that both of them, your house and the garage slant in the same direction.
No, as per the drawing, Jed, I was going with the slope, the degree of slope. That's what I was trying to match up.
Okay.
The degree of the slope. Thought that would look good.
So I have a couple things to add to the conversation. First of all, what a fantastic house. I noticed the concrete pad in the back a while ago, and I'll be totally honest, I toured your house when I was looking for a house to buy here in Madison. Again, it's a fantastic house, and I thought I would definitely build a garage on this
Yes.
pad, exactly where you're going to build one. I think I can shed a little bit of light on the pitched roof history. Now, again, every town's different. Matt, you probably know more than anyone, since if you've been the one who's walked around and done all the research at the archives, but a lot of times they relate to the main house. There might have been a breezeway or an outdoor kitchen or something like that in between the main house and the rear garage, so it would match the slope from where it was previously attached to something in between. There are also some that were specifically designed for little hay lofts, so you could put hay up there when you had horses back there and those kinds of outbuildings that get turned into stables. So that's where a lot of these really steeply pitched roofs come from on these rear accessory buildings, and they're a hodgepodge. They point every direction because there are different reasons why they were there and different buildings they were previously attached to. So I don't think there's any problem with the orientation that you've selected. I do think it's an interesting and cool style choice that's a lot better than a plain, normal, vinyl-sided garage. I think this is going to be a really good project. It makes a lot of sense to put it on that pad right there. And again, congratulations on that wonderful house and on making this nice upgrade to it.
Chris made a remark about hayloft, and I'm looking over your garage door there.
Yes.
That'd be a great place to just put a fake hay. You're not going to put hay up there, but it would mirror that.
How much of your concrete pad there is going to be occupied by your garage?
Pretty much the whole thing. I
So is
think
it gonna-
there's some leeway in, there's some leeway. I'm not a construction person, but there's bolts already in that seem to matter, and they're in like a foot or something.
You want a two-car garage, right? Is that right?
Yes.
So you need a pretty decent-sized garage. My only thought with it, you really, your brick and your wood siding, and your nice antique windows, you're really proposing a very high-quality build here, so thank you so much for that. And your house, it's being maintained beautifully. Madison is a town of gorgeous side porches, and every once in a while, somebody wants to enclose them, and we, fight that fight. And but of all the porches, the fairest of the land, I think, is your porch. It is an absolutely spectacular porch. My only hesitation about this project, it wouldn't be a not approved. My only hesitation is, when you put that garage up, you just don't quite have that expansive view of your fabulous porch. But you didn't create your tiny lot size. That is what you have to work with, so I understand that.
It is a concern. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. It is a concern, and I need a garage, and I thought it might kind of envelope the verandas in a way and trying to get myself psyched up for that. Like, is it really going to be bad? I love the view of the churches. I specifically picked because of the location where that house was. That's what I loved, and the house itself too, but mainly where it was located, just looking around, 2 churches, everything. But I just would like a garage to park my cars in. I think I need one in the winter. I mean, that's it. If it was in Florida or more of a southern state, I wouldn't do it, but I'm not. It's
Well, this is way more than just a serviceable place to park your car. It looks like a great addition to the house, and the little flares you're throwing in make it work, like the brick facing on it. And that
Yeah,
kind
the
of
brick
thing.
facing on the alley is a very positive thing.
I don't want to belabor the point anymore. I'm ready to move to findings of fact if the board's ready to accept them. I find that this application meets the design guidelines.
Okay.
And if there's no further discussion on that point, or Brenna, do we need to go down a roll call, or can I just roll a motion into this one as well?
Does everybody agree?
I agree.
Yes. Okay.
All right, based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness. Brennan, can you put the address back up?
Sorry.
For 510 West Main Street.
I second that.
All right, can we have a vote, please?
Bill Joel,
I approve.
Happy Smith,
Approve.
Chris Cody,
Approve.
Ken McWilliams,
Approve.
Ryan Rogers,
Approve.
Jared Anderson,
Approve.
Jed Skillman.
Approve.
You may pick your paperwork up. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next one is Caleb Denton at 751 Jefferson Street.
Check your mics again.
I'm not Caleb. He's my son.
Oh,
He
okay.
travels for work, so
Oh, okay.
he couldn't be here tonight.
So this,
Go ahead.
this structure, or the proposed structure, is a 12-foot by 30-foot shed in the side yard. The main structure is non-contributing, built in 1818. It is a federal-style structure. And then it's zoned historic district residential.
1818?
19.
It says 1940, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. We're doing good.
And there are possible 1980s additions to the main house.
Okay.
That's fine. That's just-
All right.
He's just wanting to put a garage on the side of the house. I think he didn't send me with anything. He said you guys had everything. Metal siding, I believe, is what his intent to use. Try to make it match the house as best he can as far as color goes.
Okay. Anybody in the board?
Did he happen to mention anything about exposed fasteners?
He did not.
Okay.
Is there a recommendation for that?
There is, but it changes the budget a little bit. We kind of frown on using the exposed fasteners on the roof and siding on structures, especially that you can see from the right-of-way.
Is the metal roof you were thinking of, is it a standing seam roof?
As far, he wanted it to match the house, so whatever was on the house. I don't know if you can tell from the pictures or not.
I don't know what kind of siding, or what kind of roofing's on the house, to tell you the truth. I couldn't see it.
Oh.
It's-
Is
A
there,
metal roof, but I don't know about the seams, to be honest.
Do you think it's like a pro-panel metal roof, you know, the barn siding, that kind of stuff?
No,
No?
has the wider,
Okay. Standing seam with the little,
I believe so.
okay.
According to the survey, it says the exterior materials is asphalt shingles and concrete block.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Brennan, is there a site plan in the package?
The drawing that you have there doesn't look like the pad that's there. The pad is, way up on the hill. Does it come down that far? I don't.
The 12 by 12 is not concrete. That's just kind of the path that's been driven up to the pad.
Okay.
And it extends, I would say, to the back of the house. I don't know that it extends beyond the house. It backs up to a hillside.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt. So I just got on Google Earth. It's more like a standing seam metal roof that's on it now,
Okay.
galvanized.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So
Okay. Would you consider putting a standing seam roof on your garage?
I assume so, yes.
Okay, that would make a big difference. There are some very nice, the new standing seam roofs we're seeing around town that are quite nice. The seam looks good, and they have some little striations that go up and down through it that helps those roofs keep from oil canning, which is misshapen, that kind of thing. So I'd be really happy to see that kind of a
Okay.
roof on it.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anything? Anybody from the general public like to talk? Anything that the city has received as far as comments?
Bill, I'll just make one quick comment. We are usually kind of stricter with houses that are contributing, that is contributing to the historic district, and this house is a little bit newer. So sometimes we don't have to have quite as strict a standard because we're not dealing with such a historic house. So that'll help in this case.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a lot of heartburn over 24.2, which is site new garages and accessory buildings appropriately on the lot. And it says locate detached new garages and outbuildings to the rear of a dwelling or setback from the side elevations. Attached garages and accessory buildings should be set back from the front facade of the primary dwelling at least 1/3 of the total depth of the dwelling. That's 24.2, and I mean, this very clearly violates both of those. But to Happy's point, this is a non-contributing structure, and their backyard is a hill, so I don't think that they could physically do this. So, while this is a tough one, because to me, this flagrantly violates the guidelines, but it's also sort of a unique condition that doesn't apply to most of the other buildings in the city.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't see how you could possibly get a garage up in back of your place. You'd spend
No.
more money on retaining walls in the garage.
The back of the house to the hillside, there's about one sweep of a lawnmower.
Could you potentially shorten the length of it so it at least complies with the 1/3 requirement?
Do you have any idea how? I don't know.
So if it's 43 feet long, the main house, then you're looking for whatever 1/3 of that is, it needs to be that far back off the front facade. Now, I don't see that that relationship notated on this drawing, so I don't know. You may already be there. You may already be really close. But, again, I think this is a unique circumstance.
Shorten this by 14 feet.
And I don't know how many feet it is right now, because, it may be already at 12. It might not be a big deal. So, I'm inclined to vote to approve either way, but,
Back 12 feet from the facade.
so it's set back 12 and 1/3 would be 14. Okay, that's close enough.
Was there ever a structure there? Those poles look like they've been there for a while. It was just construction that was started?
I think something was started and that's
Okay.
where it ended.
Anybody else? Anybody from the general public like to speak? Any communication to the city? Go ahead.
So I believe this project meets the guidelines for outbuildings.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Wait.
We don't do
Do we agree?
I'm sorry, excuse me. Got my head.
Jed, do you agree?
I agree.
Chris?
I don't agree.
Okay.
Jared?
Jared?
I agree.
Ryan?
I agree.
Ken? Or, I'm sorry, did
So
you
we're
say
all,
already?
we're all really kind of
Sorry.
struggling up here, not so much because of your project, because we've had 3 garages come before us, and some of us were very strict on the first garage, and now I'm getting ready to say that yours meets guidelines. And the only thing I can say in defense is that, when you're on East Street, which the other one was on East Street, you're in the 1809 gridded part of town, you're in the very most historic part of Madison. Your garage is just a little bit on the outskirts, it's less in the historic core, and so I'm going to say this one does meet guidelines.
So based upon the preceding findings of fact, I move the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to the project at 751 Jefferson Street.
I second that.
Do we have a vote?
Bill Joel,
I approve.
Happy Smith,
Approve.
Chris Cody,
I approve.
Ken McWilliams,
Approve.
Ryan Rogers,
Approve.
Jared Anderson,
Approve.
Jed Skillman.
Approve.
You may pick your paperwork up. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Next will be Orban Ash,
That's a table. So if somebody
608.
could,
Oh, I'm sorry, that one's tabled.
we already made the
Excuse me.
motion, so.
Okay. So Austin Ketchum,
Good evening.
211 East Main. Go ahead, Brenna.
Okay. So this project at 221 East Main is to replace the rotten wood windows with aluminum clad windows. The structure is contributing. It is federal and Italianate style. 1841 is the construction date, and it is zoned Central Business District.
Go ahead.
So Austin Ketchum, 248 Hendricks Street, and like she mentioned, so they're these two windows, and we've had a couple different contractors kind of look at the windows, and they're just, really just in really bad shape. So, the request is to put, wood aluminum clad windows, high efficiency, on those.
What are you going to do with the window on the main level? Next,
Yeah, so
To
all
the
the
left.
street level windows are going to be maintained.
Okay.
So we're going to try to salvage all those.
so they're going,
The big
it's going to be
storefront
restored?
window, the big storefront window, the door. So we're going to try to restore that door, have it swing out. So we have to do a little bit of work to it. It's kind of coming apart at the seam. So I'm trying to save as much of
Sure.
the character of the building as I can. But those those upstairs windows, I mean, they're just kind of pieced together. One of them is just kind of, there's a 2x4 kind of holding it together. They're just kind of pieced together over the years. And I mean, you guys are the experts on this, but from what I can gather, I mean, I don't think these windows are original to the building. I think they're, they're very old. I mean, they're probably 100-year-old windows. So we're just looking at updating those to try to maintain the character and the look of it, but also have like a usable, safe window that people can enjoy, and looking out Main Street.
Sure.
Who have you had come look at your windows?
So I've had a few general contractors come look at it. Actually, so I've got an estimate of Glass Unlimited, and if you want to speak to a representative over there, he can come talk. But and they're everyone I've kind of talked to, I mean, everything can be saved within, I mean, it's just a matter of time, money, and, but, for all intents and purposes, these are kind of past their design life, from what I've gathered.
So Glass Unlimited, they do wonderful work around town. They maintain a lot of windows. They replace a lot of windows. They're very well respected, but they're really in the window replacement business. So there are contractors in town that are in the window restoration business. So it's a really good idea to have them take a look at your windows, because they really are looking at the window with regard to saving it if it can possibly be saved. It's surprising. A modern window is all of a piece, so if it breaks down, the whole thing has to be replaced. Your historic wood windows are made up of parts, and so all the parts can be replaced, and sometimes they're made up of historic old-growth wood, so the wood is surprisingly durable, even though they might look really rough on first looking at them. I don't know if you were here to hear the Indiana Landmarks folks are going to restore the front windows on the Custer Cosby House, an circa 1840s house. They are going to save those windows, so they can be saved. But you have to talk to somebody who believes in saving old windows, not somebody who just is pretty much in the business of replacing them.
Sure.
So that's the only thing I would encourage.
Can I have Glass Unlimited respond to that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Can you tell us your name?
Hi, good evening. I had no intention of speaking tonight. I was just here to be a guest, and I'm actually a new owner of Glass Unlimited. My family's lived here for years. They owned it for 20, 30 years, and I took over. Oh, sorry, Clinton Tolbert, owner of Glass Unlimited. Thank you. I just wanted to comment specifically on these windows. My technicians did go and estimate, review. We agree with Austin. We do think they need to be replaced. Will say that, I don't want to get into opinions here at all. I'm just here to support him and support the board. We are a window restoration company. We do restore several windows, including the house that you had a discussion about the vinyl siding tonight. We actually restored all of his windows. We replaced the ropes, the pulleys, made some repairs. We probably do 100 windows, or if not more, of ropes and pulleys, and trying to make them into something that they're not, or that they once were. So I just wanted to jump in and make sure that was understood. I'm happy to have a further discussion at a later date, but I do support Austin with these. They are in very rough shape, but understood that if you need second opinions, I get that.
Clinton, have you seen these windows?
I've seen pictures of them. I've spoke
Okay.
with my lead technician who does all of our repairs about these, because we've actually quoted Austin the new aluminum clad windows. So I personally haven't put my eyes on them. It's a fair question. But I trust, like I said, the lead guy that I have on staff that has the most experience with restoring pulleys, putting, epoxying windows back together. We've done a lot of that around town.
Yeah, I saw the Holtz house. You did a great job on it. I mean, that turned out really nice.
Thank you.
What I was going to ask is, are these windows deteriorated or are they rotten? Are they just joints?
I would
coming
honestly
apart?
say both, if I'm being honest. There is some deterioration that I think could be repaired, but I think the bulk of it is the rot that's the problem.
Okay.
Personally, that's just our Glass Unlimited's personal opinion.
Okay.
Thanks. Any other questions for me while I let him take over?
Oh, just thanks so much for coming, and thanks so much for doing that wood restoration work. I stand corrected, and
Absolutely.
I'm glad to
and I'm
hear
here
the further
and,
information.
we're here to be a resource by all means, and I hope that moving forward, like I said, I'm a new owner and I grew up here, but happy to be a resource to the board and the town.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Mr. Ketchum, you have a PACE grant award in your window. What were you awarded? What is covered by your PACE grant?
You mean the everything or windows specifically?
Did it include windows?
I think there was mention of windows on there, and Brenna, mentioned to me. So there was a detail with it. So I did put wood windows. So it's, should have been wood aluminum clad windows on the PACE grant. But again, I was awarded the dilapidated structure grant, and and I don't have to get into necessarily the dollars, but if we need to take those windows out and substitute that with other things. I mean, just this past week we had to replace the main sewer line to the main, dig up the road, sidewalk, and so that was a few dollars there. So there's a lot of things within this building to bring it up to code, structural, sound. It's just been very deteriorated for the last 20, 30 plus years. So but yeah, that was my fault. I should have clarified on that.
Thank you so much for taking this building on. I mean, it really has been sat there neglected, and it's just been such a sad building that many of us in town have wanted to purchase and take on. So I'm just so glad that you're taking it on. I don't know if you've looked across the street to the Katie and
Beck's.
Grant and Beck's
Beck's,
house. They had all of their windows restored, and that was a building that had sat dilapidated and neglected with holes in the floors and holes in the ceilings for 40 years. And they had Seth Elder in, and he is our really, really good window restoration guy. I personally would love it if you would get just one other window restoration person to look at the windows. I think Glass Unlimited is great. I have good respect for them, but if we could just get one other person looking at your windows. You do have commercial windows, and if you walk up and down Main Street, we don't have too many replacement windows in our windows on Main Street. We really do have the historic windows with the true divided lights and the big fat muttons, and to my eye, they look very different than the replacement windows. I'd love to see us just give every effort we can
Sure.
to saving your very, very cool 2/2s.
Sure, yeah, I definitely understand that. And like I said, on the street level, we're gonna maintain everything to the eye. But me personally, I think from a second level on the street view, I can't differentiate the difference between powder coated heavy gauge aluminum coated windows versus painted wood personally. You may, when you're right up on it, I think you could probably, tell the difference, but, I don't think it's taken away, personally, I don't think it's taken away from the character of the building by having those on the second floor. That's just my opinion, though.
So, Mr. Ketchum, the Glass Unlimited quote for the up windows are 1/1s, and yet you've got 2/2s in those upper windows. So we'd hope whatever you do, you're going to replicate what you
There
have.
is an
up
STL included.
Yeah, it's 2/2.
No, I thought that was an easy fix.
It should be it should match in kind. If you have access to a proposal that says 1/1, that's a typo.
Thought that would be easy.
It says it has an SDL, but it's 5/8. Is there any way it could be changed to 1 1/4 or 1 1/8 to make it more? I'm not sure what Sun's options are, but typically you have a wider mutton option.
So I had one concern, but it's already been answered, the 2/2. If you could do that, that'd be great. I've lived in town not very long, and that building has always been an eyesore on Main Street, so thank you for taking this on.
Absolutely.
The building's been an eyesore, but it's a historic building. I mean, that is I think, I've heard that that's the oldest building that's a restaurant in Madison that still stands. I mean, when that was built in the 1840s, that was built as a restaurant. And I'm going to go back to what Happy said about the wooden windows. The wooden windows, I don't know what, I won't presume to guess what your budget is on restoring this building, but you're going to put a lot of money into it. You can tell. The windows are the equivalent of what they say in Detroit is fit and finish. It's like, or in the clothing business, you buy a suit off the rack, but you don't have it altered to fit you. So those windows, turning them into aluminum windows is a big letdown, especially after all the money we know you're going to put into that building. And I think you should go first rate on the windows, because that's what 9 out of 10 people walking by, they will not step inside it, but they'll see it from the outside. And many of the people who visit Madison come here strictly to look at the buildings. It's a destination for people that love historic architecture. And you have a great little piece. It's a modest building, but you only have 2 windows to fix, so that's a modest ask to fix them and in a historic fashion.
I just wanted to clarify, Sun does have an 1 1/4 SDL option, so that could be an option.
I would like to suggest a compromise, and I don't know how the board would feel about this, but looking at the inside of these windows, there's obviously been a ton of moisture in that building because the inside's worse than the outside. And I do respect Clinton's opinion that if he's telling me that his guys say they're rotten, they're probably pretty far gone. Years ago, when I did a project down on First Street, I used Sun windows, but I used the wood exterior. Would you even consider using their wood exterior, maybe leaving the existing exterior trim in place and sliding it in like an insert window so that the detail remains, but we have a wood window with a large mutton bar in it? That would look appropriate.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not totally against that. I would prefer, if we can vote on the proposed, suggestion, before here, and then if we have to, go from there, then we can, but, that would be my first, inclination.
So I don't see any reason we couldn't do that, but you would need to reapply to vote a second time on it. There wouldn't be further discussion on it today. I'm trying to make sure.
No, I got you. Would I need approval so if this was voted down, would I need approval to replace like kind wood windows though? I don't think
There's been some discussion about that. Anytime that a historic window is replaced, it should fall within the guidelines, and the guidelines say 70% damage, which is a very damaged window. according to the Secretary of State, almost every window can be repaired. But they are guidelines, so everybody looks at them differently, and we're trying to get a better handle on wood replacement windows because after COVID and so forth, they've become very relaxed, and we've lost a lot of the historic character in town because of that. But when you drive down Main Street, you don't see a lot of clad windows, which is good because that's kind of the core of our historic district. I think as a board or as a board member, I want to encourage anybody that lives on Main Street to either do a restoration or a wood product on the outside and try to help us maintain the historic district. You're talking about 2 windows, so the maintenance is minimal on it. The sun windows they put in for me 10 years ago, I've painted them once. They're probably due for it, but they're holding up very, very well. It would be a good solution for you.
Sure. Yeah, and I guess, I mean, another one of my concerns is like the efficiency of it. So, I mean, this is going to be, and this has been kind of a family project, so this is going to be something that's, you know, within my family, it's going to be kept and, you know, maintained and, you know, try to be good stewards of the building. But at the same time, you know, as far as like an efficiency standpoint, even repairing these wood windows, I mean, you know, compared to a modern, like, you know, if it's the look of it from a street on a second level, if it's right there, but you got the efficiency, you know, of, you know, modern window, you know, that was my biggest thing with, you know, trying to go with the aluminum clad.
It's kind of like putting a vault door on a drywall wall, though. I mean, these old houses are going to leak, and the windows are usually the least culprit if they're maintained. Just something to consider.
Yeah, and Ryan, I really like this suggestion. It sounds like, you know, you'd still be getting a new window. It's just a different wood window that's actual wood as opposed to aluminum. So, you know, if it was 20 windows on the building, that would be a massive cost increase. I could see that being a big problem, but it's 2 windows, you know, and it's Main Street. It's a real tough one, though, because it's so amazing that you've taken this rehabilitation on. The entire city is so excited, and this is such an incredibly positive project. You know, I'm hesitant to really be a huge stickler, but again, it's Main Street, and you'd still be getting what it sounds like you want, new windows in there, not having to repair these. We're just saying a slightly higher quality of, you know, window is a new window is what we're saying.
Sure.
Anybody else?
Clinton, does a wood window cost more than a clad window?
The costs are pretty similar, I would say.
I was going to say, when I worked for Marvin, they were pretty much the same cost.
There's not a major, from a cost standpoint.
Yeah.
Would you consider the wood window outside, a newer wood window?
Yeah, so I'd like some clarification. If I did do and went with a wood window, would that need, so if we voted for the aluminum clad tonight and that didn't pass, I would have to go? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, my understanding is that if we voted on the aluminum clad and it was not approved, then you'd have to reapply with the wood, whereas I would feel comfortable making a motion for conditional approval on the condition that you use the wood instead of the aluminum right now.
Rest of the board feel okay on that? Are we doing okay? Are we doing?
Do you agree to that?
Can I ask, can I talk to?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it going to work?
Yeah, I think I'm agreeable to that if, you know, if the board wants to vote on the wood substitution from sun.
All right.
You'll be pleased that you did this, when, you know, this time next year.
Turn your mic on.
I was going to say, you'll be pleased that you did this time next year or when the building's done, because it's going to be spiffy, looking 1940 or 1840
Well, I
instead
think
of
I think he'll be most pleased by getting out of here with an approval. And I'm very pleased to be able to give it to him, hopefully unanimously.
All right.
When are you going to open the diner, Damon's Diner, back up?
Damon's Diner. So not Damon's Diner, but we're gonna have the next best thing soon. So it's a local restaurant to be relocating.
I spent the 80s and 90s there.
Yeah. I've heard. I see the Madison, Indiana Memories Facebook. I've seen a lot of cool stories from that building. So.
Anybody else?
I just want to add, so I've inspected this building and I did it for dilapidation for the PACE grant. I will say that, I respect the board 100%. But what the pictures don't show here is the damage to the jams and everything else. I'm not saying we got to use this. We've come to agreement. I'm fine with that. But sometimes you look at that, but you don't realize that the jam, the seals, everything is rotten. The brick around it is rotten. And all that has to be come into consideration when we decide about just replacing wood windows. So I just wanted to make that point. Thanks.
All right. Let's see. Brian, you want to do something for us here?
Yeah.
Finding facts?
Based on the finding of facts as I went through it, of course, we always want to restore windows. Clinton's not testimony, but saying that he's had his experts look at it and looking at the pictures from the inside and knowing construction, it does appear that there's been a lot of moisture in the building, which can deteriorate wood surfaces very quickly, even though the outside might still look good, but it was covered in lead paint and everything like that. I would say that this does meet the criteria to do a full replacement with a wood product.
Happy, what do you think?
I agree.
Jared?
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Can we
I agree.
have a motion, please, to accept?
I'll make the motion as well. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that Madison Historic Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to Ketchum.
Austin Kitchen.
Austin
Put the
Ketchum.
address back up, Brad.
And the address for the
211.
221 East Main for wood replacement windows, wood exterior with 1 1/4 inch mutton bar, 2/2.
Okay. Do we hear a second?
Second.
A vote?
Bill Joel,
I approve.
Happy Smith,
Approve.
Chris Cody,
Approve.
Ken McWilliams,
Approve.
Brian Rogers,
Approve.
Jared Anderson,
Approve.
Judd Skillman.
Approve.
You ready to go on that? Stay there.
Perfect. Hey, and
You're next.
real quick here, I appreciate the board's vote on that. But I just wanted to, and I'm probably going to be here next month on another project, so I hope to, kind of continue this good relationship with here. But on these, I don't know, I just feel like it's a little bit of a kind of a moving goalpost when it comes to the kind of the window discussion. So on the historic guidelines, so it says that, aluminum clad finish may be approvable. So I just want to completely understand, just for future, knowledge. I mean, I'm a real estate agent, so I like to, educate my clients as well, within the historic districts, and just tell them like what is and isn't. So are we saying, so this is a case by case basis? So, since this property is on the forefront on Main Street, is that it's under a little bit more scrutiny than?
How many people do you see up here? That's how many opinions you'll have every month.
Well, I can speak to that though, just from a preservation philosophy and best practice standpoint. And yes, you're absolutely right. Buildings that are more prominent and buildings that are older and have a higher level of historic significance are usually treated more conservatively under the Secretary of the Interior's standards or under local design guidelines. I mean, it only makes sense that, it's a house on the back of the district that very few people are going to see, minimally visible. Maybe, that's why they're guidelines, so there's flexibility. But maybe the oldest continually operating restaurant in Madison, that date, right on Main Street, going to do what we can to treat it right within the limits of the guidelines.
Sure. Okay. Appreciate the clarification.
In other words, no clarification.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the effort. Yeah. So.
Anybody from the general public would like to comment? Anything communication to the city?
We already voted on this one.
Oh, excuse me.
We're ready to move on to the next one. Which, this
All
one, I do want to ask if you guys want to combine this one and the last one
Yes,
together?
we do.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
How'd you know?
for the two houses.
good guess.
Austin thinks it.
All right,
Dinner
so,
time.
All right.
So
Go ahead.
1007 Park Avenue and 1009 Park Avenue, these are identical applications. They'll be twin houses right next door to each other. They're both in the historic district, so they're zoned historic district residential. This is a request to build a new house on each lot. One of the lots is non-contributing. The other one is contributing based on what was there previously. There was a house that burnt, so both houses were removed. So here are the pictures.
Austin?
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, like she mentioned, I mean, the request is to build, they're gonna be, nearly identical in footprint. Obviously, they're gonna have, different color schemes and that sort of thing. So from the street, there's like a little sidewalk deal, in front of the street to the hillside is about 28, 29 feet or so. So we're gonna have to cut back into that hillside a little bit. Now, depending on how much we're able to go into that hillside, so we're gonna have to, we don't know how much rock's there and different things, there's some variables with it. So, but probably you're gonna have to dig into that hillside, probably 7 to 8 feet is what we're looking at, build a nice retaining wall. So we have one of two options, and we could do a separate retaining wall, like a reinforced retaining wall, separate from the houses with a, slab frame construction. Or we could do like a poured concrete wall with, basically walls that come off of that.
Yeah, wing walls.
Yes, yeah. So with drainage and everything off that. So we're kind of still trying to decide between those two, but as far as like the layout and everything, that's kind of what we're looking at. So there were two structures, and I don't know if she has a picture. I don't know if you guys want to look at. So these were the structures that were on. You guys have pictures of that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, either side of it, there's houses that are in okay shape. They're vinyl siding, vinyl windows. There's another house, a couple houses down, that's like a brick structure that they've redone recently. I don't know if you guys seen that federal style blue house.
The- Robin Mingioni's project, 1030 Park Avenue.
Yep. So, so there's a couple, new happenings over there, but, we're just looking to kind of revitalize that little stretch, and, as you come into Madison, and I think that would be, a good addition to that, as you come in.
Austin, what's your materials on the outside as far as your siding
Yeah,
trim?
so I'm looking at doing hardy board or LP Smart Side, one of the two. If the budget allows, I mean, I really like the look of that. Like a brick or like a stone around on the base of it. I don't know 100% if that's if we're gonna utilize that. If the budget allows it, we may. But it's gonna be a cement board, hardy or LP side.
And what about your windows?
So we're looking, the initial proposal here is we're just looking at doing vinyl. So I mean, all the other surrounding properties, they're all vinyl. So I don't think it would be out of line, out of character for that area. But we're just looking at doing nice quality vinyl on the windows, doors, with a good siding.
So if you're going to do the 4-panel door, you're going to have a hard time finding a vinyl door.
Well, that's actually probably gonna be a metal. Yeah, I mean the windows visible from the street are gonna probably be vinyl, but yeah, that's probably gonna be like you talking about the door in front.
Yeah, the large 4-panel. If that's a slider,
Yeah, that's actually gonna be it's gonna be a metal exterior door probably. Yeah.
Okay. Roof material is going to be asphalt.
Asphalt, yeah, architectural, yeah.
Well, you're a busy guy. You're just making the city better left and right. Another great project, and congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice work. Can you tell me a little bit about the garage door? And I mean, is it going to be exactly as depicted in the image here? Or so I think the garage door is going to be really significant to the experience of people at both the pedestrian and vehicular scale. I mean, that's what's going to meet the street. So I just hoping that it's going to be a high quality garage door for both of these. So can you tell me a little bit about this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's I was looking at garage doors similar to that. If the board has an issue or has a recommendation on what type of garage door, I mean, I would be open to. I mean, that's not going to make or break the deal, but the initial ones I was looking at, just, allow a little bit of lighting, because in that garage, we're gonna have like a little workshop area, different things like that. I don't know, I think it just has a nice look to it. And as far as like the colors, I mean, which seems like tonight that's been the popular color, like the mountain sage, but, maybe doing that and then like a complementary color for the other one, is what, we're kind of looking at.
Well, thanks for that. Yeah, I don't think that we're in a position to tell you exactly what kind of garage door to put on it, and certainly you need a garage door for your garage right there.
Yeah.
But definitely, I'm just saying, I think as you go to make that final decision on exactly what product you go with, recognize it's going to be a really defining feature of this building. Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Where is that's a state route right out in front of you, right?
Yes, yeah.
Where is the right-of-way on that? Because that's just one lane each direction, and I'm seeing that where is the right, when they come by, when Madison builds up and gets more popular and they widen the road, what's the border that they can widen it to?
That I'm not 100% sure on that. From my understanding, it's 0 foot front setback, 3 foot side setback on those lots. Now, we're still gonna, set back some off the front to kind of align, we're gonna align the front deck with, the other front porches, so they're gonna be on line with the other houses. They're not gonna be really far forward or really
Well,
far
I'm not
back.
talking about the other houses. But you know what? I'm just going to say, based on where we used to live and a mess that they got into, houses built on a 2-lane road, Roosevelt Road, Route 30, with a forest preserve on one side, you're not allowed to touch the forest preserve. And when they came to widen it, it went right into people's front yards. And it became a 4-lane road, and the complaints constant about basically you had to watch yourself. If it was, let's say it was 15 feet from your front door and there was traffic going by. That was a problem I saw here.
Yeah, so, and I do understand, the street being, very close to the structure, and I've tossed around the idea, I don't know, on that first, like the first corner, I guess, on the building, maybe doing some kind of like, reinforcer like concrete, just so a car in the middle of the night aren't texting and driving and swerve and take out the porch.
That's another thing.
So that's something I've thought of, but we'd obviously go, check all different avenues to see what would be, needed to get approval on that, but.
Brian, how do you think we look as far as setbacks here from the road?
Well, there you go. So 90% of the houses there are within 3 foot or less. I mean, there's some houses that are right up on it. We do have a sidewalk that goes, but then, of course, our jurisdiction stops.
Sure.
But 90% of them, like Austin said, are, I'm going to say,
I know they're close.
some of them, we got a 3 foot sidewalk from 56, and the houses are right up on the sidewalk. So it's not even really a 3 foot setback. There's 0 setbacks on that, like he said, when it comes to the front. And like you said, if you drive down there and you look, 90% of all those houses are on 56.
Yeah, if the state goes to widen that road at all, we got a much bigger problem than just this one application. It's a much
absolutely,
bigger conversation. So.
Well, and historically, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of properties in town that are right up on the road, all across the state.
And I believe when we demoed this house last year that, I mean, it was right up on the sidewalk, if I believe, right? The footprint was, so.
Well, I've looked at this lot for a couple of different clients. The property line is right on the sidewalk. The only thing I would suggest to you is make sure it sets back, the garage sets back far enough that you can put the nose of a car out and be able to see before that nose goes in the street. Because that was what I was having trouble getting my head around. If you pull into those garages, you're risking your life backing out of them.
That's a good consideration, yeah.
I would just, would want to add, Brenna, can you go to the, you're in what is kind of one of the gateways to Madison, and we're really big on our historic district here. We really put it all over Visit Madison brochures, and we like to advertise maybe to people coming into town, hey, you're in a historic district now. And that area is really mixed. It's like you said, the houses right around you, you know, they have vinyl siding. There's a lot of historic stuff that's happened over time. But you've got that Pilgrim Holiness Church, awesome historic building. You've got the navy blue one just to the west of you, awesome historic building. You've got 1030 Park Avenue, where they are doing a very modern back of the building, but the front they've kept very historic looking with a portico. And then you had one more, Hen and Ben, the Hen and Ben Brewery building. So you've got some really cool historic stuff there. I know you've got a design and you're probably already in love with your design, so maybe it's just stupid of me, but here's a traditional looking house over a garage that's sort of, you know, it's got a banister that maybe looks a little bit more historic. It has a little bit more of a historic look to it than your kind of timber frame design, which is very popular, very modern look. Your two houses side by side, you know, maybe not same, you know, maybe mix it up a little bit. Maybe think about where the gateway to the historic district, could we kind of be telling people, hey, you're coming into a really cool historic district. Just a thought for you. The guidelines allow for modern designs mixed in with our historic designs, so I'm not saying that your proposal is not approvable as is. It's just food for thought that you might consider for one or maybe both of them, taking things in a little bit more of a traditional kind of direction. Just a thought.
Sure. And if I did, I mean, you know, if this proposal was approved, and, you know, either, you know, field adjustments or like, you know, design adjustments, would that have to be reran through this board, I'm assuming, or if it's a similar footprint on, and as far as like what we're trying to achieve, or?
I think the inclination here is to approve.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm speaking out of turn.
Well, I think you're asking, can you redesign it after it's been approved, right? Like change windows and doors and dimensions?
I mean, yes, I mean, certain things. I mean, I do kind of like that, like the railing and different things on there. I mean, I think that's kind of you know, the way that's kind of done. You know, and I think even like if you did like hardy board and like some like shaker siding, I don't know, that might look, you know, I don't know how the board feels about that. I kind of like the look at like that shaker type siding on the front there. But I didn't know, you know, what things would and wouldn't have to be reran through for approval, I guess.
Well, I think if we approved it with LP siding and said that it could be lap siding or shaker, that probably gives you an opportunity to make those choices later. But if you're talking about changing the structure itself, size,
Sure.
pitches of roofs, window and door location, that would probably need to come back to be
Yeah, I think we could give you a reasonably broad conditional approval if you are thinking about changing some things like that. I'd be comfortable trying to fashion a motion to those
I would
ends.
be too.
Before we do that, anybody like comment from the general public? Anybody? Written communication to the city, Brenna? Nothing? In that case, does anybody have a motion to approve?
So,
Chris?
based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness for 1009 and 1007 Park Avenue with the additional condition that the applicant is free to change the railing on the balcony to a more traditional railing with pickets, and also has the discretion to choose another siding at the discretion of staff approval.
Do we hear a second?
I second that.
Could we vote?
Bill Jewell,
I approve.
Happy Smith,
Approve.
Chris Cody,
Approve.
Ken McWilliams,
Approve.
Ryan Rogers,
Approve, I like it.
Jared Anderson,
Approve.
Jed Skillman.
Approve.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I think it's time for new business here.
Ken?
Brandon?
Yes.
So, based on Joe, excuse me. So let me start at the start. So at the last meeting, I said there was a hole in our procedures that was exposed by the planning meeting up at the Ivy Tech, where they were taking the task for setting an arbitrary minutes available for people to speak before the board. And we have no rules on that. So I'm proposing a resolution that addresses that, and this would be a first reading. But Brenna, what I need for you to need to ask you now is pick up the copy of this I gave to Mark, because I edited this based on Joe Jenner's comments, and Mark has the only copy. So if you can make several, 8, 10 copies right now, that'd be great.
Brennan, if you could just read it verbally, if you can just read it into the record.
Can do
Okay.
that, and then I can provide them for whoever needs them afterwards. Good idea.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Resolution to change historic district board of review meeting procedures, privileges of citizens. The presiding officer shall require speakers to sign in advance if they intend to speak during public comment regarding any project that is requesting a COA. The presiding officer shall impose a 4-minute time limit for any speaker. Either the presiding officer or the majority of present and voting board members may waive the 4-minute time limit.
And this is modeled exactly on the Common Council's procedures.
I think this is a great resolution. Thank you very much for bringing it forward, and I look forward to voting on it at second reading, correct?
Yes, so that's all we're doing tonight on this, Brenna, correct?
Yes, as long as nobody has anything to add or change.
I do have a slight concern with it, though, just because would this limit people who maybe want to come in and speak after an application has been gone through and they didn't expect to speak? Because we see that pretty often here. I would say that kind of concerns me, because many of these people don't think they're going to come up and speak, and they do, so.
So I believe in the wording, the presiding officer has the ability to allow that.
Yeah, it says have the option to require speakers to sign in. I read that as the presiding officer can elect to allow someone to sign in, on the spot, as long as they're recorded.
Well, okay, the version that you have where it says option is not in the final version.
Well, perhaps, you know what, I think then Jared's concern is very valid, and perhaps we should just add,
Re-add the word option.
just add, or it can go under the provision whereby the board can, the majority of the board can waive the 4-minute limit. They should also be able to waive the sign-in requirement.
Would be the majority of the board as opposed to the presiding officer?
It's either or. So the presiding officer can do it independently of the board if he wants to lead like that.
I would encourage it be brought to a vote solely because.
Okay.
It's
Fine.
just because well, that's not fair to Bill to have to choose, yes, I'll let you speak, no, I won't let you speak, so.
I think it'll be clear most of the times it comes up. We'll have enough time to hear this person, we'll want to hear them, and, we just don't want to be constrained by this rule to tell someone that they have to sit down. I think there's enough flexibility
Right.
here.
And this is clearly aimed at, theoretically, one day in the near future, we're going to have every one of these chairs occupied. And this is designed so we can all go home sometime before midnight. So, yes, so we can do, I'll build that in. Oh, we have to do that now, don't we? So we have to amend what you just read right now so it can go to second reading.
Can you read the last sentence one more time, Brenna?
Yes.
Just the last sentence?
Yes.
Either the presiding officer or the majority of present and voting board members may waive the 4-minute limit.
And just add, and the sign-in requirement.
Yes.
4 words. Amended, first reading done.
Is that good with everybody?
All right.
I'm good with that.
How are we doing? Happy? What do you think? Brian?
I'm good.
Jared? Good. Jed?
All for it.
And Chris?
Yes.
All right.
So we will do a final reading next month, and
Okay.
we can adopt it then.
Good deal. All right.
Christmas present.
Any other new business? Old business? Anybody? Any old business? Anybody? Don't think so. Staff report.
Yes.
Thank you.
So like I mentioned earlier, I did upload all of these staff report or staff reviews to the same thing that I sent you earlier. So it's on the website, so everybody has access to it. Sort of a busy month, not super crazy, but a little busy. We've got a couple things on Main Street, or one thing on Main Street, sorry, shutter removal, a couple fences. One note.
Trying to go through Walnut Street, why the taller fence?
So that is, there's some disputes between the neighbors.
Never mind. Go on the next one.
Well, just to explain on that, the neighboring side, 814 Walnut, has an elevated porch. So the neighbor, to get the full 6 feet, wants to make their
That's fine.
theirs
That's
taller.
It's all right.
I do want to note for 201 St. Michael's Ave, if you guys look in the packets that was uploaded earlier, the direction of the stairs is changing. This has been discussed with Brian. The stairs were deemed unsafe. They are adding a landing to not fall out of their house when they come down the stairs. So the design is visible in the packet for that. So any questions on those? Okay. And then for the review from last year, everything has been completed except for 118 West 5th Street. That is the one that is still currently in-house wrap down by Roger Welch's workshop. And that one is in progress.
All right.
Yes.
What are we saying about 423 Mill Street in terms of completion and not completion?
Oh, that's a good question.
As far as the COA goes, they are in progress. They are rebuilding the windows instead of replacing them. And he is doing it himself, so that is why it is taking longer. He has to fund it himself. I'm happy to follow up with him.
Yes.
Now, you do this review 1 year, like in October, you're looking at everything that had a year to complete.
Mm-hmm.
So then, once something has gone past that time, because the work has languished or it's taken longer or whatever, then he just drops off the radar and we never see it again?
I think that's how it has been historically, but I'm happy to
It just feels like it's a little
to
bit
document
of a-
those and
yeah,
go back
a
and check.
little bit of a loophole there, that we ought to maybe take a look at.
Happy, I've asked about this property several times over the last year, just for that. And so Brian will not, has not given a certificate of occupancy because the windows are not finished yet, is that correct?
I do not know the answer to that, but I can get it for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Anybody else?
You still don't have my project up there.
I'm sorry, it did make it into the packet for last month, but it did not make it into the presentation.
You just give me nothing.
I'm sorry.
My name could be in lights.
Well, I think we're about done. Anybody from the general public want to comment on anything before we close the meeting? Nope. Oh, hello.
Sorry, Karen Skillman here. Ken, at a meeting a few months ago, you made a proposal or a resolution that contractors who repeatedly violate the spirit of the Historic District Review Board be somehow sanctioned or have their permits pulled or not renewed. Has that
Correct.
gone anywhere?
No, you're right, I did bring that up. That has not gone anywhere because it cannot go anywhere. We're constricting livelihoods.
Yes, I'd like to speak on that, actually. I probably should have shared this under new business, but, I didn't know if it needed to be public. We did recently meet with Joe Jenner to discuss a new policy approach to how to deal with folks who violate the HBR's directions or the guidelines, do unapproved work, because the current paradigm is not successful, clearly. And we're looking for options beyond requiring things that have already been built without approval to be torn down or something else rebuilt. I mean, there aren't a lot of good remedies available to us. We're currently in the process of discussing creating a fine structure for unapproved work and for work that's done outside of what we approve. Brenna's working on that project. I'm working on it as well. And Joe Jenner has said that it's very much possible. And some of the credit for getting this started has to go to Ken for saying, look, we got to do something here, guys, because he's absolutely right. And this development of a fine structure is what we've landed on. One other thing that we've talked about that Brenna, actually, I probably would like to get on the record for this meeting is I think that this board should be more engaged with the enforcement of the vacant and abandoned buildings ordinance that was recently passed. And I think it would be very helpful to hear a report from the city on how the enforcement of that ordinance has gone so far. Ideally, we should be using our expertise and the eyes that we keep on the city's historic resources to help inform priority enforcement actions, places where really integral buildings to our history that are in dire preservation straits are elevated for enforcement. So just like to hear from the city on how it's been going so far and get those lines of communication between this board and that undertaking established.
I am happy to talk to Dewey and see if he can come next month and give an update on that.
And please just tell him, we just want to help.
Okay.
And just for the record, I think this proposal that Ken made and you now have clarified what's going on is for us, I hope, a small percentage of contractors, not somebody who's going back and forth with the ordinances and the guidelines, the inconsistencies. We know, when we saw it here that night, that some guy just regularly violates it and waits to just say, oh, I didn't know. So I want to be clear that it's not everybody.
Well, I assure that we're trying to develop meaningful fines for all categories of offenders.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Anybody else like to speak? It appears as if we're ready to adjourn. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
I second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All go home now.